Santiago, who is the artist of the Sacred Reflections Oracle deck. She brought all of these images to life, and she painted 72 paintings to make our Oracle card deck. So she's here with us today. We're going to talk. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Sharlean. Happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. I've been wanting to interview you for a while, but I didn't want to do it until we had everything ready to go. So it was complete and we could just talk about it from that foundation. So, what I wanted to start with, well, if anybody's interested in creating their own Oracle card deck, let me just tell you how much more work this actually was than I ever could have imagined. I didn't have any resources. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't know how to use software. In fact, I can barely use my phone or my email. And so this was hard.
Yes, it was.
It was really challenging. And so thankfully I had an amazing friend and client that I've had for years who's retired, who's a graphic designer. And she offered to help us with our project. And if she didn't help us, there's no way I could have figured out how to get it in the right format to get to the printers. That was like one of the biggest obstacles. And so she came along and she helped us get it ready to go to print. The downloading and the writing and the collaborating with Angela and the painting and all of that stuff was really fun and a really amazing part of the project. But all the other aspects of it were incredibly challenging. And honestly, I see why people go with publishers now because it's just so much work. So, anyways, we will talk a lot about that. If anybody's interested in publishing their own deck, just know that it takes a lot of sweat and blood and tears. But then you're here and you have this beautiful baby. I feel like we made a baby together. We were laughing so hard talking about like how funny that sounds, but we really birthed the baby together. It's like an art baby.
Yep. A very long art project.
Yeah, it took forever. I don't know how you painted 72 paintings. I mean, I would call her, I would get these downloads from the universe and I would keep this notebook nearby and I'd be like, okay, here's the scene I'm seeing in nature and here's the word and here's like the meaning. And I would call her and I would be like, Angela, do you think you can paint what's in my head? And she'd say, yeah, I'll give it a try. And of course she'd add her own like creative flair. And then she'd send me the painting and I'd be like, oh my God, that's perfect. Or I'd be like, I don't know, it needs warmer or cooler. Or we would just like go back and forth and try to get what was into my head onto the paper. How was that for you?
It was amazing actually because you would say, okay, this card needs a moon and purple clouds, and I just go for it. And I'd look at different pictures on Pinterest or on the internet and just go, okay, just to get creative ideas. And sometimes they would just like you would say something like the fear card, for instance, kind of came to me in a dream where you said, okay, we have to have these specific colors in here and the moon. And I like woke up and I was like, I need to immediately paint. And there would be times where I'd wake up with an idea at like 4 in the morning and start painting before work. Because you would say something and I'd think about it at night and I don't know, subconsciously would just like magically happen. So it happened quite frequently that way, actually.
Yeah, that was probably one of the more unexpected, fascinating parts of this, right? Where we would be focusing on a card for like a week or two, right? And I would be like, here's the image. And you'd say, okay, I'm going to make time to paint this with my regular full-time job. And we would try to figure out when we were going to do it, but it would put us in a container of that card. So it's like we would be dreaming about it. We would be feeling the energy. It's like we were sitting in the energy of whatever that card was that we were working on for the week. And having some of them were pretty wild experiences. Like you had an experience, I can't remember what card it was, where you were in the pool at night or something. And
Yeah.
it was one of the cards we were working on. It was just this like surreal energy. You're like, I feel like I'm in the deck.
Yeah, it was when I was swimming and I was looking up and it was like the ancestor. I believe it was the ancestor card. And back in my apartment complex, I have the pool and it's pretty like serene back where the pool area is. And I'm like swimming and I was like, I just had this crazy, like, I don't know, it was like a full moment of I was swimming through this card in the deck that I was creating. And I painted it the next morning and it was just like, whoa, I felt like I was living in the deck.
Yeah,
But like the entire time we were creating this.
Yeah,
It
so
was wild.
I wasn't expecting to be in that the whole time. That was like 2
Yeah.
years of us doing that.
Yeah.
And it was just this constant energy. We couldn't do
Mm.
anything else. It was just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you're just so enamored and immersed in the energy. It felt like it was like Alice in Wonderland, like we were in the
Yeah.
movie.